Welcome to Econ 201 at Kirtland Community College, Principles of Econ Macro. This is a macroeconomics course. My name is Ed Durbin. I will be teaching the class this semester. You can contact me at my cell number 586-871-3224. I prefer that you don't text, but if you do text, make sure that you do let me know who you are, what institution that you're emailing me from, or texting from. Also my email address is of course located here as well, edward.durbin@kirtland.edu. And again, Durbin, remember, D-E-R-B-I-N, D as in David, E as in Edward, R, B as in baby, I-N. People always misspell that. I understand how that is the case, but anyways, just kind of keep that in mind. Again, this is Principles of Economics macro course. So onward, economics in general is a study of scarcity. Say that to yourselves 3 times. Economics is a study of scarcity. Economics is a study of scarcity. Economics is a study of scarcity. And basically what we are confronted with when we're talking about scarcity is that we have unlimited wants, desires, etc. And in dealing with those unlimited wants or desires, we have limited resources. We have limited capabilities, so on and so forth, and in trying to attain as many of those resources as we can, based upon our limitations. Anyway, in micro context, we'll get into this very early, looking into what's called the circular flow of real economic activity. Micro, we tend to drill down on specific aspects of the economy, such things as what we start with. It would be the productive resource mix. Which would include labor, entrepreneurship, or decision makers at the firm, the managers of the firm. Capital, in this case we're referring to physical capital, machinery and equipment, and land. It's pretty straightforward. Land also includes minerals and so on and so forth, as you can imagine. Anyway, we're looking, those are items within the context of microeconomics that we drill down on, and so on and so forth. Macro is something, again, we're looking at the overall forest, if you will, rather than drilling down on the trees. So with macro, we're focusing on the 3 pillars of macroeconomics: price level changes, which is also referred to as inflation, or deflation, disinflation, a variety of descriptors for that. And also we would be looking at employment or unemployment, levels of employment, unemployment, and lastly, economic growth as measured by like GDP, gross domestic product, GNP, gross national product, etc. So with that in mind, this is again just a quick overview of what we're getting into, and we'll be walking through it very quickly. Just as a note, I also want you to be aware of, I have an economic newsletter. It's located here, econnewsletter.com. And if you go into Google, you can just Google my name, and it should come up within the first 4 or 5 entries. Textbook for the course, McConnell, Brew, and Flynn. This is the 20th edition from 2014. I use an older edition because I always update the materials as I present them, and you'll notice that as we go through the course. So again, with McConnell, with this text, if you find something that's less expensive out there, that's the 21st edition or whatnot, feel free to use any edition that you can lay your hands on. Just be aware of what the chapter headings are as we go through. And we use the McConnell, Brew, and Flynn book, not this one, but the micro version for the next microeconomics course, if you will. So again, I noted the additional reading in the Econ newsletter. The evaluation components of this class are very straightforward. 4 exams, actually there are 5 exams in toto, with including the final exam. But the takeaway from this is that for their timed exams. So if you do well on your first 4 exams, you can opt out of the final exam. You don't have to take it. However, having said that, if you do take the final exam and it's higher than your lowest previous score, I would substitute that score for that lowest score. And lastly, in this, talking about exams, If you score lower on your final exam, I will not punish you, so that won't count. That will count as your lowest exam, and so we'll throw that out. There are weekly quizzes, actually chapter quizzes. Since this is a compressed term, you'll typically have more than one per unit, one per week, if you will. So again, there are 15 total, and they're worth 20 points apiece. These are not timed, meaning you can start the exam and use these as a study guide. You can start the quizzes rather, and save them and come back as you see fit throughout the course of the week. Lastly, discussion boards, those are worth 20 points each, and you'll find these illuminating. So do try to take them seriously, if you will, as you go through. So onward, these are the components of the grading components of the class. Again, this goes over what I just discussed before with the 4 exams and the 5th optional exam, if you will, the final exam, the quizzes, and also the discussion board. Okay. Lastly, we'll be looking at the actual grading for the course, and in this case, an A constitutes anything from 94 to 100. An A minus is 90 through, but not including 94%. Having said that, I typically round up. If you have a 93.5, I would certainly round that up to a 94 or an A. Last item, just to kind of walk through, would be an example of a typical week. Remember now, our weekly materials, our week, if you will, starts on Monday morning midnight, so midnight Sunday, if you will, 12 o'clock Monday morning, 12 a.m. Monday morning through 11:59 p.m. the following Sunday. So this is an example week 2 where I want to just include everything that would be covered typically in a typical week. So there would be the discussion board, of course, where you'd have to participate. And the earlier you get in the discussion board, the better off you'll be, because people tend to grab the answers fairly early. And the chapters that would be covered, in this case, chapters 3 and 4. And again, the quizzes that would be associated with those chapters, chapters 3 and 4. And lastly, exam 1 covers chapters 1 through 3. Now, typically I have the exam covering previous material, but because of, again, the compressed schedule, chapter 3 would be included in this, even though it's in that same week. So with that, I wish you all the best of luck, and feel free to contact me as we go through, and enjoy the course. Thanks.